Okay, first slide video, I'm going to try this. I've got a few tools here. Just a small kid's ball, slightly deflated. This is one with the new bad guy, Darth somebody. And then lacrosse ball. It's a hard ball if you like to have a lot of pressure. That's a nice one. Or just a soft, squishy ball. Tennis balls are okay, but there's a lot of different yoga balls. Yoga tune-up balls are nice, so that's just a squishy ball. And then for some of the things we're going to do, I have a weighted sandbag. You can use any weight, no problem with that. So I'll try to move around some different angles so you can see this, and we'll try to bust it out within 10 minutes. So here we go. If you have any low back tension, you're not alone. Many people suffer from some type of low back involvement. A couple of things I always go to, the hip flexors and the Soaz, just to try to unburden the tension from here. And then, of course, you want to address some of those tissues in your low back. So we're just going to lie down. The most basic thing to start out with is this position. So off the mat here, basically you're going to lie down and find that neutral pelvis. Neutral pelvis position means that you're not tilting, so that's an overextension. You're not tucking, which is too flat. You want to try to find that sweet spot so you're neutral. And then basically you feel here your corset muscles. You can even flex, look down to your navel. So you want to feel that your corset is on and you're active. If you're in a Pilates class, you might do some pumping like that, and that's just a way to feel that the whole underside of the shoulder is tied in. So that's the basic setup position. And then you can bring one leg at a time into the body, and this is how you're going to start to stretch into the low back. And it's pretty easy. You're just going to add a little bit of side-to-side movement. Just inhaling and exhaling. You're just going to feel that you can begin to settle into your joints. So from here, you want to add a little bit of movement. We're going to tighten up the butt. That's going to help you to work into your hip flexor. We're going to snuggle that one knee into the body. Okay? I know my head's a little bit off camera here, so I'll try to adjust. This is called Apanasana in yoga. So basically you're creating pressure in that hip flexion there. And then you're getting extension, and you want to tighten that rear on the other side. Inhale and exhale, change. I've got my head raised. You can use that in order to really feel your abs are working. You can put the head back down, no problem with that. And basically in the beginning, we're just feeling that we're able to loosen up. Pavel Satsulin tells the story of loosening a post. If you want to pull the post out of the ground, you don't just pull it straight out. You don't just pull the leg straight in and hope that it's going to work out. You want to pry it. You want to pry into the hips, a little side to side. And if you want to really start connecting stuff, you can add arm movements. And you want to explore all your tissue. Okay? And usually a couple of times, a couple of rounds through. Switch sides, switch arms there too. And you can cross that midline. So that's just a good stretch. And then you're just checking with that flexion position. Whenever you transition, which I'm going to do now, you can turn to your side and use the arms to push up. So I'm just going to have a look at what's happening behind the camera here. Do I have any? Oh, great. I have some viewers, so excellent. So that's basically the first stretch. Then you're going to add some twisting. I'm just going to get the balls out of the way for a second. You're going to add some twisting. And you want to start that same neutral position. And you can just warm up a little side to side. Now, check this out, and hopefully I'll pick this up on the camera. You want to get your knees stacked. So when the knees are stacked and you can bring yourself, so you're really in a 90-degree angle here, and your hips below the navel is going to remain pretty stationary. So you want to just keep that, and then it's the shoulders. You can imagine above the navel that we're going to start to work into the twist. So this arm that's underneath, you want to protract it, and then the other arm you get to retract, and then try to use the weight of your body. You're going to inhale, lift that knee up. You can feel everything start to tie together, and then on the exhale, you can just let it relax, and then you repeat that. You can just imagine you're getting a little bit deeper each time. And relax. Great. So I'm going to switch sides. Hopefully you can see that just to show you that, give you a different point of view. So you're not having to look at my rear. Hopefully you're able to pick all of this up on the camera. I'm getting my knees stacked. I want to pull in tight to my midsection so everything is really working. And then when I start to twist, it's really above the navel. And I'm going to keep that knee, it's a hard one for me. So I'm going to reach that arm out a little bit. The other arm goes out, so I want to reach, inhale. And on the exhale, start to release back a little bit. And I can add that weighted resistance. I'm trying to feel these outer hip muscles, which is a big part of that lumbar rotation. And then the exhale, I'm always working with the breath. So I inhale. And exhale. And I'm just easing into it. Great. So, the weighted version of that, hopefully these balls will not get too astray on me quite yet. So the weighted version of that, I'm just going to stay on the same side. I'm just adding a weight. And you could use anything. I use plates also. I'll use heavier weights, like 35 pounds or something like that. For me, it's pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to add the lift on the inhale. And then on the exhale, I let it release. And then we'll start to feel more of these outer hip tissues getting loaded in the sequence. So I'm going to lie down. And just so you see my setup, I'm starting from the neutral position. Let me turn the mat. Hopefully this will make it easier to see what's going on here. So I'm going to lie down, and then I'm using the same thing. My knees stay together, so that's all neutral, that tabletop position. And then even in your movement from side to side, you want it to be controlled. So the knees really have to work for this to stay stacked and together. Okay? So I'm just going to bring it over to my right side twist. I'm just going to stack the knees. Now I'm going to bring this weight over. It's the heavy sandbag. It's maybe 10 pounds here. Okay? Hopefully it won't fall off the leg. So I'm going to bring that heavy sandbag over, and then I'm going to start to reach my left arm out, so that's going to protract, and the other arm is going to retract. Now on the inhale, I'm going to lift that leg up, so I'm really using the weight. I can even put a sandbag on this right arm, so I'm lifting that up. And then on the exhale, you can let that twist. Great, then you repeat. Always snuggling a little bit deeper. Great. So pretty cool there. You can really build that strength even just doing your repetitions like this. These are called the clamshells, is that right? Something like that. So always a good one because you want to create strength through that outer hip. When you're doing it, keep the internal rotation. So you're bringing it up with control. I can really feel that. And then that works into your twist. So as you get stronger through these outer hip muscles here, that knees out principle, then you start to create much stronger rotation through your spine. Because the hips, of course, are really the big movers of the spine. So I'm just going to flip over so you can see the other side. Is that right? Yeah. The knees. And you always want to make sure that you're engaging your midsection. So when you move, you want to move with control. And I'll just show you how this is working here just to make sure you've got the principles. That you want to keep the knees stacked, so you're keeping that. Okay, so go from side to side. And that's going to give you that nice feeling of working across the body. Great. So everything is neutral. I'm not trying to do some crazy stretch or crazy twist here. I want to just keep everything really controlled. And then I know that my sticky tissues, the areas that I'm tight, they're going to get worked because I'm using the contract relax, that controlled eccentric stretching here. And I know that really my whole body is going to start to move in a continuum toward the ideal position. It's really amazing that when you work with the body and you kind of work with the natural pressures here, it creates that lead domino effect where all your change begins to happen. Great. So this is a really good one for me. I can tell I'm limited on this left side twist. I feel my body really wants to compensate, wanting to puff my ribs out, which is one of the go-to compensations for a body. So I'm still working with that same premise though, as I really activate and strengthen, and of course the stretching is a part of that, but it's not just stretching, it's just really awakening. It's like the Buddha, right? They asked him, so are you a superhero? What are you, like a god or something? And Buddha said, no. What are you then? I'm awake. So you want to awaken the booty in your booty. So that's really the double there. So it's the awakened hip, the Buddha of the hip, called the booty. Anyway, you get it. So that's really what we're after with these deep twisting poses. So if you're familiar with yoga postures, then all those deep twists. And what you want to check for as I work out of this tangent time is that it's really your midsection that controls your twist, right? So when I was moving from knees side to side, side to side, then it was the midsection that was controlling that movement. So that becomes really the movement premise here. And here's an exercise that looks kind of dorky, but it really gets the job done. So you inhale the arms out to the side. Then on the exhale, you initiate movement with the trunk into the twist. Inhale, center, and exhale, twist. Right? So add to that something like this. So you're getting that knee bent up, or you can even cross it over. Actually, this is a great strategy always because you get the hips to lock into place. Inhale. And then on the exhale, you twist. Love that movement. Inhale. You can just go to that same side. And exhale. And exhale. Great. I'm just going to switch out sides. Great. So I'm going to do a little resistance work here too. So this is basically what we were doing when we were adding that weighted knees out stretch. So I'm just going to move into it. Okay. Now what I'll do here is I'm going to resist. So I'm going to push that left knee out, and I'm going to use my arm, my back arm here, just kind of banking as I inhale. Then in the exhale, as I release, then I can start to ease a bit deeper into the position. I snuggle in more, and I gain a deeper pose. Inhale and exhale. Great. Now I can really start to feel that some of my low back muscles in here, the QL, are kind of Getting it? So I'm gonna really love in a moment sticking the lacrosse ball right into that space. And the muscles here get really worked throughout the day. Even if we're conscious of our alignment posture throughout the day, your low back's gonna get jacked. It's just the nature of life, sitting down, getting up, doing stuff, picking up things, whatever, right? So that's your resistance. Let's just do the other side just to be even with ourselves. So I'm gonna assume a good position, and then I'll exhale. Great. And then I'm just gonna work from here. So I'm gonna create my resistance. So I'm gonna push the knee out, right, as I inhale. And then on the exhale, into my twist. And I'll do that a few times. So I'm gonna resist with the inhale. And exhale to twist. Good. And release. Okay, now I'm ready to go after the low back with a little bit of ball rolling. I'm going to use the lacrosse ball, but you might prefer something softer, especially if you're newer to this one and you're just now working into some of those tissues. It's not about being a tough guy at all. It really is just your body's reflexive response to these pressure points and being worked on. If you get a massage, you're not going to have the therapist go in super deep right away. They're going to ease into it. Just for the video, the bright yellow lacrosse ball I think is nice, so you'll hopefully be able to see it off my shirt here. So I'm just going to set up near to the wall. If you don't have the wall nearby, don't worry about it, it's no big deal. I just like the wall. It helps me to get a bit more leverage on the position. And I'll turn the mat again. So once you get set up there, you can always start pretty close to the wall. And then you basically sit from the front edge of the yoga mat, and you're going to do this great move where you swing the legs upward. Okay? Now I'm going to take that ball and I'm going to stick it into my low back. Actually, let me show you how I'm going to stick it in there. I'm going to move from lateral, okay, I'm going to be moving directionally toward the midline, from lateral to medial, okay, so that's really the movement trajectory here, from lateral to medial, lateral to medial. Now check this out. When I lay down, I want to take in that same neutral position of my body, okay, remember neutral pelvis, neutral ribs, then I'm going to slide the ball in. Okay, and then I'm going to start to walk my feet that way. So I'm again rotating now. Check the knee position. Keep the ribs pulled in. Now remember, it's essentially this action, right? Well, as I'm starting to work into the hips, I'm creating a bit more of that twist. Breathing and hoping that it works out. Now, I want to be careful not to fall off the tissue. I want to stay with it. Whoa. So, gradually return to center. And it's always nice in between just to notice any difference that you might feel when you go from side to side. So, test and retest principle. Hashtag supple leopard. So left side, I'm going to slide that sucker in. Again, I'm just moving from lateral to medial. It's a really slow, progressive. And I want to lean into that ball too. I don't want to just flop over to that left side and assume that it's going to work out for me. I want to really work productively into that low back, quadratus lumborum, the hips, really all the good stuff that's in there. Wow. Okay, that felt amazing. Yeah. So that was pretty incredible. That's your twisting everything, really working into your QLs, your low back. Sorry, a little space after that one. I would also roll through the outer hips. Always treat this, and this is really great with the lacrosse ball. Most people can start to handle that pressure. So I'm going to skip that for now though, so sorry to tease you and then leave you high and dry, but I do want to move on. I want to move into the anterior here, just a little bit into the Soaz and the hip flexion smashes. So just to be clear, if you're not familiar with how these work, so basically the anterior of the spine, it's connecting your spine to your hip or your femur, and it flexes the hip, right? So these guys. And it can be really anywhere through here. It's not just the psoas per se, all the other tissue, the stomach and the midsection, the sides, the legs, the quads, it all gets blended together, kind of stuck together even. So this smash, we're going to think of it as just working into the hip flexors. Pretty simple, you're going to be working right through there, wherever you feel the pressure, you want to stay, you want to work there. I use this little ball, it's just slightly deflated. These balls are a little bit too small to get into the area the way you want to, but for me at least, you know, I'm a smaller guy, I guess, so this kid's ball works pretty well, so I like this one. I have some other stuff I use, but you know, I think this is good. Now, you can always do it if you don't have a ball just with your fist, because your fist, if you start to shape it properly, can act as a really nice surrogate for the ball. So I'll do stuff like this, right? And well, you make your own jokes with this kind of thing, but basically that's it. The balls, of course, are really nice to use. Wow. And I can feel it start to release more. So that superficial tension, because you know my midsection's been working. I've eaten lunch today and I've just been doing stuff. So taught this morning, so my body is a little bit, you know, tight. So I felt that initial layer of tension, and it's not that I'm, you know, chronically tight, but like everyone, we develop tension throughout the day. So just that superficial layer starts to release. And I can start to ease in there more. And pretty quick, you will notice how this all starts to change your relationship with your low back and your hips, just everything in there. So I'm going to speed along and just move over to the left side. And I'm just going to spend a little bit of quality time here. This is not really the hip flexor stretch video, but I mentioned earlier that anytime there's a low back involvement, I'm going to take a look at some kind of, well, treatment of the hip flexors. Doesn't always mean to stretch them out, but I'm definitely paying attention to what's going on at that area. And the tissue smashing is always really great, not just in terms of stretching it out, but also to help awaken the proprioceptors and just to get a deeper sense of your center, your body center. So just to show you one more element with the fist smash, just as you transition, that's always right. You get just a lot more freedom in that low back with the Soaz smash. So just one more element here, and that's just making the fist. I do this in my yoga class all the time. So you're going, this is my belly button here, so I'm just pointing that out. You're going just lateral to that area. You can always open the knees wide to accommodate your bending forward, and then you start to go forward. You want to actively press your fist into your belly, so you're smashing into your guts. And then you breathe here. Great. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully that was under 10 minutes. I tried to do something kind of quick for the low back. I'm just going to lie down so hopefully you can see me better. This was impromptu. I was just sort of fussing around on the YouTube today and figuring out more around my live streaming. So if you like what I did, please leave me a comment, a thumbs up or whatever. If you don't like it, that's fine. Constructive feedback's always good. But I would like to do more of these types of things in the future, also live streaming my yoga class and just some of the things that I do to treat my body in between yoga practices. And I would love to invite you in on that process and join along with me. So anyway, stay connected with me. Hopefully next time I'll have a better idea of what I need to do with the audio so that you can hear me speaking. And then just timing it so I can send out a message on Facebook or the social medias or whatever and say, hey, I'm going to do this, a little stretch out or yoga class or whatever, and we can get a schedule for this going forward. So anyway, thank you so much for joining, and well, come on, the yoga people always say namaste, so namaste.